Yeah, just Sveno Mick here. Just real quick video. I just had my front fork legs, my left-hand front fork leg. I've had a little weep in the front fork leg, and I just wanted to check. There's a fastening nut or bolt up in under here that goes up and screws to this in this fork leg. And I was just checking to make sure, because I wasn't sure if the oil was coming from around that thread, because on my little SS125 I actually had a little leak around here on one of the legs, and they're very similar forks to the SS125, but obviously the SS125 is smaller. But what I done is I had fixed them up on the SS125, just put a bit of Loctite around them to seal it, had them upside down, let them sit overnight, like Loctite dry on the big thread, had it up, done up nice and tight, I'd loosened it off, cleaned it all down with carby cleaner and put it all back together with Loctite on it and done it all up. That fixed the problem. So I wasn't sure if it was the same on the left-hand fork leg here on the ST250, so I thought, oh bugger it, I'll pull it out, I'll check the I'll check it and see. Now, I don't know if he's realised, but a little bit of oil makes a hell of a mess. There's plenty of oil in the fork leg still, in that left fork leg. I just pulled the axle out, dropped the fork leg off. All nice and simple, didn't even have to pull the front wheel right off. Just pulled it out enough for it to clear the left-hand fork leg to go down. Just undone the mudguard bracket and undone them, undone the 13mm up the top. Those 8th grade bolts, they are too. My mate was just here, that's a bit of an anti-Braaap man, and he doesn't like Chinese motorcycles, and he said, oh, they're just shit quality bolts. I said, no, they're not. I said, they're 8th grade bolts. I said, look, 8.8 there. So I said, no, they're not crap bolts. But anyhow, so whilst I checked all that, and all that was nice and tight, so I did come to the conclusion it is a fork seal weeping, and it's not a bad leak. I've got a fork seal cleaner here that a lot of the time with your fork legs leaking is actually only, hang on, I'm just going to run this around here so I can get a better look at it. A lot of the time it is actually only your is only dirt in your fork seal. So you can see it's still got a little tiny weep just there now. So I'm going to pull this leg off because I won't need to get the other one fixed, but I'm going to zip it down to the bike shop and get a new seal put in it. But you just pop that dust cover off, that just slides down. Just get I just got a paint scraper, and that sticks out a tiny bit, and just tap it down slowly. Just take it down nice, slide that down, and then just run these fork cleaners. I got this through Ballard's, and it says there oil seal, not that one there, that one there, and you just clamp it on like that, and then you just take it up, and then you just run it around like that around the seal, and oil will come out. And what effectively it does is it just cleans if there's any dirt or gunk up, and a lot of the time some dirt can just go up in between the fork staunching, the slide here, and the seal, and it can obviously damage the seal. That's just dust too, a lot of dust. This is after you've popped this dust seal off down to here, and then you just run that up, and it just goes up in, and that piece there, you just run it up to there and just run it round a few times, and then just round like that, up inside, and oil will come out. But I had mine up and upside down today, and it'll pull the crap down, and then just you can reverse it back out, or you can just pull it down like that, and then you just pull that off. These things are brilliant. Now it says here on it, on the end there, 35 to 45mm, and this is from your bigger bikes, 45 to 55mm. Now that's the diameter across, the width across there. So I think these are around about these ones here. Well, that's 45. I think they're around about the 40mm. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to put the verniers on it. But it's the actual measurement across here is the millimeters. So that one's there is the one that suits the Braaap. But anyhow, it doesn't appear that it's more than just dirt. It's the actual seal needs replaced, but that's no big deal. It only takes about 10 minutes to get that leg off. But I just thought I'd do a real quick one on that. She's due for an oil change, and next time you see me, I think I'll do a valve adjustment. I'll just check the valves. Engine starting and running very well. Generally, when they get the valves a bit tight, because you get valve recession on the valve seat itself, it will recess up against where the valve seat goes up into the inserts in the cylinder head, and they're steel. They're an insert that goes into the aluminium. They're machined in and pressed in, and if you get valves that are soft or crap of fuel or whatever, some bikes but have valve recession problems, this thing here is 3 years old, still starts, and the first sign of it playing up is a lot of the time they're hard to start. And this thing, look at this. I've only had this going. It's not rattling. You can hear when the valve, when they're a bit loose, you'll hear them rattling if they're loose, or we won't hear them rattling if they're tight, obviously, because the valve head of the valve is pushing up against the rocker. But this is pretty spot on, and it wouldn't start like that. And when they get really bad, you have to unstart them, and I've seen dirt bikes doing that. I won't say the brands, but there was a particular brand that had a lot of valve trouble there a few years ago, very well known brand, but anyhow. But I'm going to leave it at that. That's just a little fork cleaning exercise and a little Braaap. It's all pretty basic when you start looking at it. You know, you think a lot of the stuff's all big and you can't do it, but when you actually start looking at it, it's not that complicated at all. But having the tools, like having drivers to get the seals out and drive the seals back and stuff like that, I haven't got. So, and I just go down to Paul Berwick at MPE and he does a good job. But I'm going to leave it at that. So that's 7 minutes and 50 seconds, 7 minutes and 36 seconds already. By the time I put my entry into it, time gets away when I'm waffling. Sveno Mick here with his Braaap ST 250. Still haven't changed my mind on it. Brilliant little motorcycle. And what more can I say? 3 years old, still going tough, but I haven't done big heaps of kilometres. I've done about 2,600. Hang on, it's 3,000. 2,500. So she's due for a service, and I'll check those valves, and that'll be the first time for the valves since I've had it, and I reckon they won't even be out. Anyhow, Sveno Mick on his Braaap ST 250. Sveno Mick out.